Oh, yeah. Is it Saturday already? Have we made it through yet another week of Star Wars greatness? Yeah, that's right. This past week, might have been the greatest week for Star Wars in a long time. From episode 7, 8, and 9 of Andor Season 2 to even Tales of the Underworld. This was quite the week for Star Wars, and we'll break down a lot of what happened, but we're looking to the future because the finale of Andor, episodes 10, 11, and 12, come out in 3 days. Will Luthen die? Will Clea die? Will Wilmon die? Who's gonna die? And will that Luthen backstory finally be revealed like Tony Gilroy said it would in the Death Star? Yeah, that's right. The planet-killing weapon. We got a lot to get into and not a lot of time, so without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday afternoon? So it's the end of yet another week for Star Wars, and this was a great one for sure. 2 of the greatest episodes of all time in Star Wars content being released with episode 8 and 9 of Andor Season 2. The Gorman Massacre, Mon Mothma escaping Coruscant, 2 seemingly not so important events in the Star Wars timeline made extremely important by the show called Andor. Now, the big question remaining is, well, what's going down in the finale? We got a year gap between when we last saw those characters, when Bix left Cassian. Yeah, that's right, Bix did not die. No, she did not. She just left Cassian and left the rebellion. Well, I guess she didn't really leave the rebellion. She just left Cassian for the rebellion. We'll talk about it. But let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Let's start this thing off right, as we usually do, by saying hi to everybody in the chat. Starship 66, how we doing? B-Man, what is up? Brandon Baker in the house. James, what is up? 50 Thunder, how we doing? Skywalker Academy, what is up? House of Matrix, Rabbit, what is up? I Haja in the house. Mike, what is up? Ryan, how we doing? Aaron, what is up? Tafari Tano, how we doing? Another Mike who loves Star Wars, what is up? Your pal Joe in the house. Navarro, what is up? I like how you guys are nice and early to the stream today. Adam, how we doing? Fearless, what is... Okay, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little,
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so we got really a lot to talk about today. I got some interviews from Ben Mendelsohn, Tony Gilroy. We got some stuff with Kyle, who plays Cyril, who R.I.P. Cyril, will not be in the rest of the show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about in today's live stream, and we got to predict what's going down in the finale. Who's going to die? Who's not going to die? What's going down with Luthen? What's his backstory really? And how much Krennic are we really going to get? Because let's be honest, if there's one complaint about Andor Season 2 that I do have, it's the lack of 2 specific characters. And those 2 characters are very, very important to the Rogue One story and very important to Cassian's story as well, I guess, in a way. And that is Krennic, who's only been in 2 episodes? Has Krennic really only been in 2 episodes, chat? 2 episodes. And Saw Gerrera, who's only been in 2 episodes? Hang on, chat. Have Saw and Krennic really only been in 2 episodes? That's crazy. So I think, nay, and yes, I did just say nay, I know that Krennic and Saw will both be in these final 3 episodes and probably play a lot bigger role as we are leading right into Rogue One. Oh my God, 50 Thunder with a very generous super chat. That's how you start off a stream. 50 Thunder with a very generous $2 holla says Scream Test. Nice. Boom. Yeah. Boom. Indeed. So, a lot more Krennic and a lot more Saw Gerrera this week is what I like to hear. But throw in, of course, your craziest predictions for what you think is going down in episode 10, 11, 12. But let's recap how last week ended. So where are we going from here? So episode 9, although episode 8 was fan-freaking-tastic, and actually I put up a poll in the community tab on the channel, and maybe you guys saw this, maybe you didn't, but check this out. So I put up a poll to see what the best episode of Andor has been. And the 4 options I gave were the Narkina 5 One Way Out episode from season 1, the finale of season 1, which is called Bix Road, and then episode 8 and episode 9, Who Are You and Welcome to the Rebellion. And with almost 4,000 votes on this poll so far, episode 8, oh, you guys can't see that, episode 8, Who Are You, The Gorman Massacre, Cyril's death, all that stuff, it's in a pretty big lead. Actually, I'm surprised that One Way Out is in second. Welcome to the Rebellion's in third, and then the finale is very far in last. The finale is goddamn good, but in this conversation, I would probably agree with this list to an extent. I'd see episode 9 higher than One Way Out, though. Tafari Tano with the very generous $2 holla says General Luthen Rail of the Jedi Order. Okay, we'll talk about Luthen's backstory in a second. Hang on to your hats, chat. It's gonna get crazy. But I Hodge with a very generous super chat. What's up with that? What's up with all these super chats, chat? Yeah. Says, hey, everyone in chat. Mike said, oh, hello, everyone in chat. Mike said I had to, K2. Yes, we'll get a lot of K2 in these 2 episodes as well, because he got brought back to life at the end of episode 9. But this was kind of surprising to me. Episode 8 seems to be pretty beloved. Cyril's death, the Gorman massacre, all that craziness going down. This was pretty cool. Almost 4,000 votes. 43% say episode 8 is the best episode of Andor. Now, a lot of people have been saying that episode 8 and 9 are some of the best Star Wars content they've ever seen. Some even saying it's the best Star Wars has ever been, which is such high praise for the show. And even if it's in the conversation, it's just incredible. And that's how good Andor Season 2 has been. But I got a feeling, maybe it's the Force, maybe it's something else, but I got a feeling that episode 10, 11, 12, now I don't think it'll be on the same level as 8 and 9, because 8 and 9 are like 10 out of 10s easy. But I think 10, 11, 12, we will be close to that same level as we lead directly into Rogue One. Now, the reasoning for that, which we'll talk about a lot during this live stream, is not only will this lead directly into Rogue One, but Tony Gilroy has said that they have established these 3 episodes to be ready for film, ready for the big screen, in case of them wanting to release this with Rogue One as a back-to-back movie event type thing. So I think what they got going down in the finale, because it is still a finale, even though it's leading into Rogue One, it's still a finale. So something big is going down this week. We just don't know what it is. So I think it could be on the same level as these last 3 episodes that we had. Absolutely. Yeah. Master Beckham, what is up? But tell me in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, what did you think of the last 3 episodes of Andor, episodes 7, 8, and 9? Rate it out of 10 in the chat if you have not already. Let's talk about it, because it was insane, and where it ends off and what it leads to. So there's a few things going on, especially in episode 9, that I got to talk about. Bix leaving, sad. It was brutal, because she says, I'll be back. I'll be back when we win the war, and we'll do all the things that we wanted to do. And that's never happening, because he's dead. Okay? Cassian dies. Spoiler alert. But Bix is promising this great future that we know will never happen. And that's what's so heart-wrenching about it. However, that's not the end of the episode, because we get to see K2SO as well. Now, the setup for Luthen is very strange to me. In episode 9, we learn that Lonnie, who's supposed to be Luthen's spy in the Empire, in the ISB, he has a secret agent in Bail Organa's team to help Mon Mothma escape Coruscant. So did Luthen hire that person? Did Luthen tell Lonnie to put this secret agent in Bail Organa's team? And if so, why? A lot of questions need to be answered about Luthen this week. First of all, his backstory, because that's going to be an enormous piece to the puzzle, and we'll talk about it in a second. But the biggest thing is, why is he not going to Yavin? Why is he just doing his own thing? If he truly wanted to protect Mon Mothma and help the rebellion, then wouldn't he go to Yavin and try and help out? Why is he not going there? What is his end game, if you will? Those are the answers that we need this week to those questions specifically. Now, when we talk about Luthen's backstory, and let's just talk about it, okay? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Tell me in the chat, what do you think will be revealed to be Luthen's backstory in this coming week? Because the rumor has it that episode 10 will be where we learn this. Episode 10 will be it, where we finally find out what Luthen's backstory truly is. So tell me in the chat, do you think he's a Jedi? Do you think he's a Sith? Do you think he's a Separatist? Do you think he's something? What is Luthen? Tell me in the chat. And while you do, I believe I missed a super chat and a membership. Okay. Another Mike who loves Star Wars is a very generous $2 holla. Says screeners who saw all 12 episodes said that 10 to 12 are peak. That is also true. Let's not forget, chat, that this show currently sits at a 98%. Let me double check that. 98%. 98%. Why does Rotten Tomatoes do this? Rotten Tomatoes, fix your website. God damn. A 98% right there in the top corner. Critic score and an 83 audience score. Again, Star Wars fans, haters gonna hate. But 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. And those people who have rated it at a 98% have seen the finale. And they say that not only did 7, 8, 9 blow their freaking minds, but 10, 11, 12 did as well. So we are just right here sitting in the middle in this intermission pretty much from this greatness. Because the greatness will continue this week. It will continue. And we will go out on an ultimate high, which will lead directly into Rogue One. Yeah. So I appreciate it, Mike. I appreciate it. That's very true. Oh, your pal Joe gifted a membership. I appreciate that, Joe. And it goes to Karaoke Ken. Karaoke Ken. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. I appreciate that quite a bit. Gifted memberships, super chats, all that fun stuff. Help the channel out quite a bit, so I appreciate it. Yeah. Look at Luthen's ship. It clearly is a Jedi ship, and it makes sense that he was a Jedi, but different jobs in the Order. Well, I actually disagree with that. How would we've seen Jedi ships before. We've seen Jedi starfighters and all that stuff, different variations of Jedi starfighters, but never once has one looked like Luthen's ship. Luthen's ship, although it does have lightsabers coming out the sides, doesn't really scream Jedi to me. And if it did, well, then the Jedi would find him the Empire would find him very quickly. The difficult part about Luthen being a Jedi, which I don't think he is, but the difficult part about him being a Jedi would be the fact that he is sitting right under the Empire's nose on Coruscant. And you think at some point the Inquisitors, Vader, Palpatine would notice. I get it. He wears a wig. Wig's not really a good disguise. It's not really the greatest disguise. So in terms of Jedi, I don't think he is. But while we talk about what his backstory is going to be, I want to put up a poll in the chat. Because if you haven't smashed a freaking like on this stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. But let's put up a poll in the chat. Do you think Luthen will die in the finale? Yes or no? Now, if you were to ask me this 5 days ago, 6 days ago, I would have said absolutely yes. But now, I'm kind of on the edge because they executed perfectly Bix not dying. I thought Bix was going to die and it was going to be this crazy emotional thing for Cassian, whatever. Nope. She's still alive, but they did it in a way where it absolutely works. It works so well. So now the question becomes, with them taking Luthen away from Yavin in episodes 7, 8, and 9, is that alluding to the fact that he might not die? Could Luthen survive? I still don't think he will, just for the reason of him talking about how he's given everything to the rebellion. He's making this sunrise that he'll never see. But they did just write Bix out of the show without killing her off. Is it possible because Luthen's such a fan favorite character, maybe they want to do some sort of spin-off show? I don't know. Could they keep him alive? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the chat. He'll get arrested? Interesting. But let's talk about where he comes from. Where does he come from? Where does he go? Where does he come from? From Luthen Rail. Okay. So where do we think Luthen comes from? I got a feeling he's from Naboo. That's been a very popular theory. The whole Gungan shields and Padme Amidala's headdress, and maybe he's related to Padme Amidala. Maybe he's just from Naboo. I don't know. But there was the connection to Earskin, Mon Mothma's assistant, who is also, or his dad was from Naboo, or his mom was from Naboo, or something like that. Some connection to Naboo. And maybe that's why he's working for Luthen, because they have that connection of both being Nubian. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. No one really trusts him on Yavin, Luthen that is, because he had to use the tools of his enemies. That's true. Luthen has killed a lot of friends along the way. I think the Anto Krieger thing in season 1 probably left a bad taste in many rebels' mouths when it comes to Luthen Rail, because he kills his own to protect the rebellion. And I don't think a lot of people are okay with that, you know? Yeah. Padme's siblings from the deleted scene. Wait. He's one of Padme's siblings from the deleted scenes? Does she have deleted scenes? I mean, siblings in those deleted scenes? I remember in the deleted scenes from Attack of the Clones, we get to see Anakin meet her parents, but I don't remember there being siblings there. Anthony says, Mike, absolutely Luthen will die, okay? There is no way with his mentality that he would make it to the New Republic era. Plus, I can't imagine Tony Gilroy wants his character used by any others. I don't think Tony Gilroy's thinking that way, but I will agree with you that I think he will die. Yeah, I do. And 73% of you right now think that he will die. I think so too. He's a senator. Okay, the problem I have with the senator theory too, I have a problem with pretty much all the theories. Sith, Jedi, senator, anything. The problem I have with the senator theory is that all of these people would know who he is. Mon Mothma specifically, because she's going to his gallery to buy this stuff off of him. It wouldn't make sense. All the other senators would know who Luthen is. So that doesn't really add up either. That doesn't add up either. Luthen needs to be the fall guy, and he knows it. So you're thinking that Luthen is putting himself in a place where when the rebellion needs it the most, he can say, look over here, it's me, Axis, the guy you've been looking for years and years and years. And he's just waiting for the perfect moment. I kind of like that. The reason he's not going to Yavin is so that if Yavin ever gets compromised, if they're ever close to finding Yavin, he can be the smokescreen. He can be the flare going, hey, look over here. Don't look at the forest moon of, forest moon of Yavin. I guess it's the forest moon, right? Yeah, even though Andor is too. Yeah, don't look over there at Yavin. Possibly. That could be it. We know that the Death Star will play a big role coming up in these next 3 episodes. We even know that Clea finds out about it from the trailer where she says there's a weapon. They're building a weapon. So if Luthen finds out about the Death Star, then maybe he tries to make a sacrifice play to take out the Death Star? I don't know. But Senator, I think in terms of his backstory, is a no-go because all the other senators would know who he is. They'd recognize him. Jedi, I feel like there's a possibility for Jedi, but even still, the Empire would track him down and kill him if he was a Jedi. He would be in the Jedi archives, and Emperor Palpatine would know about him. Now, Sith has been one that people have attached themselves to every once in a while. I don't think that a Sith is probably the best answer either. just going out on a limb there. I don't get Sith from Luthen, and maybe I'm wrong. But whatever this backstory is, and I honestly personally like the separatist idea of it. Because here's the deal. If he's a separatist, now you don't know what to think. Because when you hear separatist as a Star Wars fan, you think the bad guys. But let's not forget that the separatist army all went down to nothing. They got destroyed too at the end of the Clone Wars, not just the Jedi. So both sides of the war got just absolutely destroyed by Palpatine, who came out on top. So the Empire comes out on top, the Jedi all die, but we don't hear much about we don't hear much about the separatists. So is it possible that he's more of an open-minded separatist in a way, where he sees that the Empire are the bad guys and tries to build a rebellion? And we got super chats pouring in as I'm talking about Luthen being a separatist. But tell me in the chat, what is Luthen? This backstory that's going to be revealed on Tuesday in episode 10. What's it going to be? And will it be flashbacks, or will it just be an explanation? because his character is so important to Cassian right now that this backstory might actually change the way we look at his character and change the way we watch the entire first season and second season of Andor when we go back and watch it. That's how crazy this reveal might be. But as I say that, Darth Drafter with a very generous $10 holla just says, "Ah! Hello there." What's up, Darth Drafter?
Hello there.
Ron, how we doing? 50 Thunder with a very generous $5 holla says, Luthen will be, wait, what? Oh, pursued by bounty hunters and find himself encased in carbonite. He will later be freed for his own show. Crazy prediction, maybe not. I don't think so. I don't think Luthen will get his own show anytime soon or ever, actually. I do think he will die by the end of this season. I just think with last week, with what they did with Bix, the opportunity to keep him alive is on the table. I don't think it will happen, but it's on the table. Now, that is a crazy theory, and I quite like it a bit, actually. Admiral Raddus is coming in the next 3 episodes. That's true. We know this for a fact because at Star Wars Celebration, there was a trailer that was released that showed Admiral Raddus, which is really strange when you think about it, because they don't usually show too many scenes from the final 3 episodes. Actually, with that being said, we do have the trailers pulled up here for those last 3 episodes or the remaining scenes of those last 3 episodes here. Yeah. I said it ages ago. I think Luthen is from Naboo, and that's why he possesses so much of Padme's gear. Maybe he's related to Palpatine. To Padme. It is possible that he's from Naboo, but what significance does that really hold to the rest of the story? Like, why do we need to learn that? You know? If he was a separatist, if he was a Jedi, if he was a Sith, if he was a senator, if he was that's important. That would really add some craziness to the story. If he's just from Naboo, I mean, I guess that's cool, but it's not like adding really too much to the story here. You know? You know? Sorry, Chad. There we go. Yeah. Tales of the Antique Shop Owner. Who wouldn't watch that? Luthen is Cassian. Wait, what? Luthen is Cassian? Oh, Luthen is Cassian's dad. No. No. My last comment. Luthen is confronted by Dedra in the gallery, and he manages to get a message out to Clea that his time is up. She then detonates the place and destroys all the evidence. That would be insanity. That would be insanity. Why is this not working, Chad? Okay, there we go. That would be crazy. Because we do know, and let me see if I can find this image really quickly. Dedra in the gallery. See if that comes up on a Google search. Now, I think when I searched it on actually the X, formerly known as Twitter, it did come up. Let's see. Dedra in the gallery. Yes, so this is what we're talking about here. This is the image coming into this final 3-episode arc that really is has the most mystery around it. What is Dedra doing in Luthen's gallery? Because let's not forget, she just lost everything. She lost half of everything in the last 3 episodes. She loses Cyril, the love of her life. Kind of. She loses Cyril. And she's extremely emotional about it at the end of episode 8. Extremely. Like freaking out, full-on panic attack, holding her neck, choking, shaking, this huge panic attack. When she gets back to Coruscant, she's going to be rewarded with medals and promotions and all this great stuff because she successfully did the Gorman Massacre. That's what they wanted to do. That's what the Empire needed her to do. So she's going to be rewarded for that with probably a big promotion. But now she's left with this giant gaping hole in her heart that's Cyril. That's this guy that she loved for forever, or last couple of years at least, and now she lost him. And in return, Darth Plagueis, appreciate it. I'll get to that in one sec. In return, she's rewarded with a promotion. So what is she doing a year later? After the Gorman Massacre by a full-on year, what is she doing? We know that Krennic will be interrogating her at some point. We see that in the trailer. And we know at some point she'll be here at Luthen's gallery. So is she back on the Axis bandwagon? Is she back trying to figure it out? What do we think's going on here? What do we think, chat? Tell me, why do you think she's in the gallery? And while you do, let's get to this Darth Plagueis. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $10 hollow. You guys are feeling extra generous today. I appreciate it quite a bit. Says, so who will die, Mike? With a winking emoji. Also, will we see the Death Star in action? Well, in action is a pretty open-ended question, I guess. Will it be blowing up a planet or blowing up anybody? No. Because the first time it gets used as its practice test is on Jedha. We see that in Rogue One. So the Death Star itself won't be going, and they go, yeah, no, that won't be happening. So, but if you mean like, will we be seeing it not in action, I guess, then yes, we'll be seeing the Death Star actually quite a bit in these last 3 episodes, as Krennic, we see in the trailer, is standing right in front of it. But I think they'll use it more so as a scare tactic in these last 3 episodes, alluding to the fact that we might be going to Rogue One. Not might be, we are going to Rogue One. Seeing characters, though, that are attached to this Death Star could be a possibility, too. Think about characters like Galen Erso. We talked about last week. Galen Erso, father of Jyn Erso, could be likely to be seen in these last 3 episodes. He was working on the Death Star, and we know that the Death Star will be there. Yeah. Dedra isn't naturally blonde, but she's not Hispanic either. Not a chance that she's Cassian's sister, unless she had a genetic change at some point. Yeah, I don't think the sister thing's going to come to be anything. Sadly, chat. I know for a while there I was like, this has definitely got to be something. The sister thing, it's got to be something. I don't think it is. It would be a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Do you think she will give something to Cyril's mom? I don't think so, because again, it'll be a year later. So like a lot of time has passed, you know? Yeah, I know. The sister thing is CW writing? Clone Wars writing? What? Oh my God, you guys with these super chats. I appreciate it. Booba Productions, nice name, says, Luthen is over it. He's going to hand off the rebellion to Yavin, and go with the ghost as he shares go with the ghosts, not the ghost itself, and share his dreams. Also, there will be I have a Luthen prequel series. Well, it depends on what his backstory is. Like, he could appear in prequel stuff. But then again, like, Stellan Skarsgård's not getting any younger, so it would probably be animated prequel stuff, you know? Oh my God, you guys with these super chats. Toy Master with a very generous 5 to 65 of something, but I think it translates to 5, says, I share my dreams with ghosts. Did his family die? That's actually a very interesting point. In his monologue in season 1, he does say, I share my dreams with ghosts. And then, of course, he talks about how he's making a sunset he'll never see. He's given everything to the rebellion. Huh. I share my dreams with ghosts. It could be something crazy, like his backstory was that his whole family died. Maybe it died to the Empire. Maybe he's not a separatist. Maybe he's not a Jedi. Maybe he's not anybody. He's Rey. He's a nobody. And it just so happens that his whole family died to the rebellion, and he's now given everything to a rebellion that can fight back against that empire that killed his family. I kind of like that. I kind of like that a lot, actually. That's a great theory right there. Ron with a very generous $20. Holy crap! Says, I think some of these characters' endings are really going to be a surprise. The story writing has been incredible and has taken some of these characters in directions we had no idea they would go in. Absolutely. I mean, right now, going into these last 3 episodes, the only characters that we know for a fact are secured are Mon Mothma, Krennic, Cassian Andor, and Saw Gerrera. Right? K2SO, I guess, could be added to that. But that's about it. Characters like Vel, Bix, who I guess Bix is gone now, but Vel, Bix, Luthen, Clea, Wilmon, Dedra, like all those characters are up in the air. That we don't know if they're going to die or not, or how they're going to die. But in these last 3 episodes, at least 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 major characters are going to die in these last 3 episodes, or at least leave the rebellion somehow, some way. It'll be very interesting. Very, very interesting. Melshi, that's true. Melshi will be alive still. And Bail Organa. True. Okay, fine. Maybe there's a few. But not all. Not all. Your pal Joe brought up the theory that Clea could be Leia, which I think is just beyond ridiculous. But it does beg the question, will we see Leia Organa in these last 3 episodes? What do we think, Chet? What do we think? Fearless says, Mike, the ISB will find out about Lonnie, and that's how she gets to the gallery. See, now that makes some sense. The only way that she could get here is if she connects the dots. If finally, after all these years, Dedra connects the dots. Which would be really cool for her character. I mean, as much as we hate the bad guys and like the good guys, Dedra, she's gone through it. And in episode 8, which so many fans love so much, it seems like she's, we feel bad for her, you know? We feel like she should get a little bit more, you know? Yeah. Dedra is quite crafty. She is. I think her character specifically, this year later, is going to be the most important one. Like, why? What is she up to a year after the Gorman Massacre? After she lost Cyril? What is she doing now? That's going to be the most important thing. And not only is she in the gallery with Luthen, which is just insane within itself, but she's being interrogated by Krennic. We take a look here. Right about here.
Resistance is absurd.
Whoops. She's being interrogated by Krennic at the ISB headquarters on Coruscant. So Dedra's character is going to be, I mean, what the hell's going on here, you know? Now let's actually take it back a little bit here and take a look at this. Because now, having seen episodes 7, 8, and 9, there's only a very small handful of scenes that remain that we haven't seen yet. So we've really narrowed it down now with only 3 episodes left to the most important scenes remaining. Because last week we talked about how we haven't seen this yet, but now we have. The rescue of Mon Mothma, the Gorman Massacre, that's all done. So we're going in pretty much blind into these final 3 episodes with very, very small pieces of the puzzle. Very small. I'd love to see Bail Organa telling Leia about the rebellion and how important it is. That'd be great. I mean, seeing Leia in any capacity would be fantastic, but I don't know. Only time will tell.
I came with you to be part of something.
Like, this has all been seen.
The Empire cannot win.
Pause. Now, this is not. The lack of Saw Gerrera in the last 3 episodes was pretty surprising to me, especially after episode 5, where they set him up with the Rhydonium and how crazy he is and Wilmon and all that stuff. And we knew that Wilmon would be at the Gorman Massacre, so we just assumed that Saw would be there too, but he wasn't. So Saw Gerrera, this is where we're going to see him in Rogue One, and this is how we'll see him in the final 3 episodes. He's all messed up. He's got no legs. He's got the oxygen mask, but I guess we'll never know. Because we thought we'd see how he turned out this way, how he lost his limbs, how he ended up the way that he is on Jeddah. But I guess we won't. Because here we are in the final 3 episodes, which are in the same time period as Rogue One. And here he is looking like he's supposed to in Rogue One.
It's a different kind of mission. If it goes up in flames,
It will burn
Very
very brightly.
But if I'm giving up everything, I want to win. We have to.
So I've heard this complaint actually over the last week or 2, or I guess week, because it couldn't have been 2, that when Bix leaves the rebellion, she's pretty much going back on what she said here, which is she wants to give everything to the rebellion to win. But I actually disagree. I think her leaving the rebellion is her giving everything. She's giving up Cassian. She's giving up the love of her life for the rebellion. that's her giving up everything. No? I don't know. You tell me in the chat. Toy Master with a very generous $5 holla says, hang on, let me get to this really quickly. Says, Dedra saw Cyril and Cassian fighting on video, and she tracks him down to Luthen's gallery. Okay, but how does he know? How would she know? Where? Interesting. They might have. You might be onto something here. They might have put the pieces right in front of us. Let's not forget, in episode 5, I think it was, Cassian goes to the gallery. And Luthen's like, you can't be doing this. You can't be coming here like this. And if somebody asks about it, just say that you were bringing me this artifact. You guys remember that in episode 5? Yes? Give me a 1 into the chat if you remember what I'm talking about. The big argument between Cassian and Luthen in episode 5. So that might be, by the way, that would be 2 years ago. 2 years ago. That would be maybe the only piece of evidence that would connect Cassian to that gallery. And maybe in all of Dedra's looking and digging into Cassian Andor, she maybe finds the fact that he went to this gallery. And that's why she's there. Huh. I like that quite a bit. Toy Master is on the case right now, chat. That'd be pretty wild. Huh. But the big question is, what does she find when she gets to the gallery? You know? Who is there? Is it Luthen? Is it Clea? What is she really going to find there? Because there's not much at the gallery that she can find. It's really just a gallery. And also, she has to know that Cassian is the one that killed Cyril. You know? I do like this quite a bit, actually. Dedra points the gun at Luthen, and he says, "Who are you?" And the circle is now complete. That would be pretty wild. Yeah, it's still... People don't talk about it enough, but it was crazy when Cyril's pointing a blaster at Cassian's head, and he just looks at him and goes, "Who are you?" Oh, it's so crazy. Okay, let's get back to this.
We must stand together. We will be crushed.
Resistance.
This we haven't seen yet. So far, we are 42 seconds into this trailer, and only 2 scenes we haven't seen yet. Saw Gerrera on Jeddah, and this interrogation scene with Dedra and Krennic on Coruscant. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Is absurd.
Oh, we haven't seen that actually either. So this looks like Coruscant to me. Maybe putting some plot together here. A lot of this seems to be taking place on Coruscant. K2SO in action. But where is he going? Can somebody translate those words? Chat, somebody get on this. Translate. Right there.
It's a weapon.
And we haven't seen this yet either. The importance of the Death Star in these last 3 episodes is going to be felt very strongly, especially with the fact that Clea knows that it exists. Maybe she doesn't know that it's a giant moon that kills planets, but she knows that they're building a weapon, and it's very, very important and very, very scary, as she seems frightened by the idea of it.
They're building a weapon.
I mean, come on. Krennic is going to be, like the title of this stream says, the main villain of this remainder of the season. The fact that we've only gotten him for 2 episodes leads me to believe that he's going to play a major role, like enormous major role in these final 3 episodes. And actually, I got some evidence to back that up, because Ben Mendelsohn, who plays Orson Krennic, went on Seth Meyers last night. Is this Seth Meyers? Yeah. Seth Meyers last night, and was talking about Andor. So take a look at this.
So this is a character. You're reprising your role of Krennic. Rogue One, a fantastic film. Fantastic film.
Thank you. Yep.
And when Tony Gilroy, who created this fantastic show, when he reached out to you to see if you want to do it again, were you excited?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, look, Krennic's a fantastic character, but he's a middle manager in Rogue One. You know, he's the guy building a Death Star.
Yeah.
So I did make one request.
Which was?
Which was, well, you know, let's pump up the volume a little bit. And I think, look, the show is fantastic. I think it's, you know, it exceeds all expectations, and I think we pumped up the volume.
You pumped up the volume.
Now, not to say, like, you know, not to say he's lying or anything, but we are now 9 episodes in to this 10-episode series. And I don't think they've pumped up the volume in terms of Orson Krennic. We've only gotten 2 episodes with Krennic even involved at all. And in the first one, he's barely in it. The second one is a little bit more, but not so much, and that's episode 6. So he's in episode 1 and in episode 6. That's it. So if we're really pumping up the volume, I think Krennic is going to play a massive role in these last 3 episodes. Not only interrogating Dedra, not only standing in front of the Death Star like he is right here, but he might be right on the tails of the rebellion, if you will. And I think they've pumped it up in these last 3 episodes. Because yes, in Rogue One, he is just the middleman. He's building the Death Star, but he's really just being killed off by Tarkin, who takes over for the Death Star. And although he's a good bad guy, he's being sort of, you know, pushed around, if you will, by Vader, by Tarkin, by everybody. So I think in these last 3 episodes, we get to see him be a little more badass. Get a lot more badass Krennic. And that's what he's talking about in that interview right there. They've pumped up the volume for Krennic. He won't be the middleman in these next 3 episodes. He will be the boss. He will be the villain. He will be badass. Yeah. But I do have a super chat, so hang on, let's get to that. 50 Thunder with another $5 holla. Holy crap says, are we certain that Krennic is interrogating Dedra? Could he be interrogating Luthen? It looks a whole lot like Dedra. Let's go back. Let's go back and check. Let's go back and check. Let's see. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, that doesn't look like that doesn't look like Luthen to me. It looks very much like Dedra. The blonde hair, parted right down the sort of off center there, like it is with Dedra. It looks like Dedra quite a bit. Yeah.
This is absurd.
It's a weapon. They're building a weapon.
The lead up to Rogue One is going to be so insane. I don't know how they're going to do it. I really don't. But how they pull this off could be historic. Now, we're talking about already coming off the backs of episode 8 and episode 9, 2 of the greatest pieces of Star Wars content to ever have existed. That's insane. That conversation alone is wild. But the fact that we could be getting even more of that this week with 3 more episodes, that perfectly bridges the gap between episode 9 and Rogue One is even more insane. What if it's Lonnie? Again, it doesn't look like Lonnie. It looks like Dedra. Could be Lonnie, but it looks like Dedra. Maybe. I love how they're linking this to the opening scene of Rogue One. As we see Krennic going to see Galen on his planet. Well, no, that would happen a long time ago. That would happen at least like 10 years before. Because Jyn Erso is still a child at that point. And then when we fast forward, whatever it is, how many years later, she's a full-grown adult. So, no, we won't be seeing that as the opening scene. When they say they're going to bridge it to the opening scene of Rogue One, they mean the opening scene with Cassian Andor in that alleyway where he's going to meet the guy with the hurt arm. I forget what his name is. Somebody help me on the chat. But he's going to meet that guy, and that's when they talk about the Death Stars. The Death Star. That's what's going to be leading into. So when Cassian says, well, when the guy with the hurt arm says, where were you? You're late. And Cassian says, oh, I was doing something. That something that he was doing will be the last scene of Andor Season 2. Whatever made him late for this meeting will be the last scene of Andor Season 2. And that will be so good, because then he'll be on his way to that meeting, and it will go perfectly into Rogue One. But so far, what is that now? Saw Gerrera, interrogation scene, K2SO scene, Kalea, and this. 5 scenes so far that we haven't seen yet.
The monster will come for us all.
Revolution is not for the saying. You're right here.
Have we seen this, Chad? Have we seen Luthen check himself out in the mirror yet in season 2, Chad? Chad? Tivik is the name of the one-armed guy? Oh, yeah, Tivik. That's right. No, we haven't seen this yet? Okay. So, I don't know. I mean, Luthen's obviously going to be... Wait. Some people are saying yes. No? Yes? Maybe? No? No. Okay, no. So, Luthen, of course, is going to play a big role in these last 3 episodes. He's probably going to die. The end of his story. The backstory for him. Figuring out how he has the gallery, why he's so important, how he's so powerful, how he's on Coruscant, all that stuff. But I don't know. I guess we haven't seen this yet. I don't remember seeing this. Can't say I remember no Luthen. Can't say I remember no Luthen. Facts.
You're right here.
Let's talk about Wilmon for a second. He doesn't get that much love, so let's talk about him because he's on screen, okay? What do we think is going to happen to him? He's not in Rogue One, so you can immediately go, he's dead. But Bix got away alive. Bix made it out alive. I think Wilmon will die. Having said that, I think Wilmon will die. But what do we think? How does he die? Why does he die? Where does he die? When does he die? What do we think, chat? Wilmon. Mr. Willymon. What do we think? I feel like he's out of commission. I think so too. Oh, he dies? No doubt. All right. Mike, can you please read my statement? I will, if you send it. The chat is going very quickly today, Adam. I apologize if I missed it, but I don't. You just send it again. Just do it again. Are we sure? Are we still sure that Luthen is not a hidden Jedi? Honestly, we can't 100% be sure about that, but I don't think he is. You know? I don't think he is. He'll overtake Luthen's shop? I don't think so. New poll time? Should we poll this up? Should we poll up if Wilmon will die? Continues to train K2. Oh, interesting. Wilmon goes out in a blaze of glory. Maybe with Drina. Oh, yeah, that's true, because you got Drina, too, who's not in Rogue One. But the two of them end up on there, at least, nonetheless. I think Wilmon will die due to injuries from inhaling the Rhydonium. Interesting. Yeah, they really took Wilmon, put him with Saw Gerrera for a little bit, learned all this stuff about Saw Gerrera, learned all this stuff about Rhydonium, and then just didn't talk about that in the next 3 episodes. I thought the Rhydonium would be a huge part of the Gorman Massacre. It wasn't. I thought Saw Gerrera would be a huge part of the Gorman Massacre. He wasn't. But maybe, just maybe, they're keeping that stuff, keeping the connection between Saw and Wilmon, keeping the connection between Saw and the Rhydonium for these final 3 episodes. As much as episodes 8 and 9 focused on Mon Mothma and the Gorman Massacre with Cyril and Dedra. Now, these 3 episodes are going to focus on Saw Gerrera and Krennic, the 2 characters that aren't focused on enough, and Luthen. No more Gorman. No more Mon Mothma, really, because she's on Yavin 4 now. So not much of her anymore. She's got to get a haircut that we know of. So she'll have the nice hairdo, short hair on Yavin 4. But we don't really get much more of her, I don't think. What if Cassian confronts Luthen about using Wilmon as a tool and to get to Saw for a new plan? Well, Luthen and Saw have this relationship. I don't know. I really don't know what Luthen's plan is. Like, he could go off with Saw Gerrera in some final hurrah, something like that, where he dies and Saw gets his legs blown off, and that all happens at the same crazy event where they all sort of blow up. Who knows? But I don't know. Luthen seems smarter than that to me. I don't know. But do you think Wilmon will die? Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. And by the way, 88% of you say yes. You think that Luthen will die. And I agree with you. I do think that Luthen will die. But how seems to be the question that remains unanswered. Do you think Wilmon will die in the final 3 episodes? Yes or no? Wilmon goes to hang out with Lando Calrissian? That'd be kind of cool. Do we think that Luthen and Andor will be together again? I don't. I think they will. It'll be like one last mission type deal. I think that's what this is going to lead to. Some last mission that Luthen needs Cassian for. And then he's done. He's going to die or he's gone. We haven't seen Luthen speak to Saw since season 1. We haven't seen it happen, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen off screen, you know? Dedra will continue looking for Luthen, and now that she's completed the Gorman objective, she will have free hands on any project that she wants. That's possible. It is very possible that Partagaz and Dedra both get promotions. So now Dedra is at Partagaz's level, so she's in charge of all these supervisors of the ISB, and Partagaz gets an upgrade to somewhere else. So he's out of the picture. So now she's in charge and she can do whatever she wants, and maybe she focuses back in on Axis. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. Matt brings up a great question. Will Dedra die? And he also says, I want her to blow up with the Death Star explosion. That would be a horrible way to go out. But it would be very ironic and sort of weird, but funny in the same way, if Dedra, by the end of the season, got like a promotion to the Death Star. They were like, oh yeah, you're going to be the head lead of this blah on the Death Star. And then we, of course, know what happens to said Death Star. I don't think so. I think Dedra will die. She's too important of an Imperial officer to not be mentioned or involved in with Krennic in the Empire, in Rogue One, or in the original trilogy. I think she's going to die. I don't know. I watched the Bill Burr Rhydonium episode today. That's, can't go wrong with Bill Burr and The Mandalorian. Actually, I want to pull this up. I know we just put up the Wilmon poll, but as much as I love the character of Wilmon, he's sort of a not as important one as Dedra. Okay, so let's do this. Do you think Dedra will die? Yes or no? All these death predictions. Do you think Dedra will die? Let's hear it. And if so, how does she die? Dedra will be in the next cell over from Leia in the detention block? That would be insane. Dedra dies. That's why there aren't any women on the Death Star? What? Is that true? Is it true? Adam says, there's a Roman... That's not a word. Sure. There's something in Luthen's gallery. Nobody knows what it's used for. And it's theorized it's a tool for knitting gloves. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, Luthen's gallery is full of just random Easter eggs like that too, which is pretty dang cool. The Mon Mothma extraction will start an investigation into who she knew, since she used to be assumed, she is now assumed to be the rebel leader. Interesting. So the reason that Dedra could be at the gallery here, as we see, is because she would go visit Luthen semi-frequently. So maybe this is just Dedra finding out who her friends were. I like that theory too. So I feel like there's two very likely possibilities here. One, she's investigating Cassian, and somehow she finds the footage of Cassian going to the gallery, and then that's what leads her to the gallery. Or two, she's investigating Mon Mothma and all the connections to Mon Mothma and all her friends. And one of those friends just happens to be Luthen. So she comes to the gallery not really looking for Luthen specifically, but looking for Mon Mothma's friends. Now, what makes her pull out the blaster? Well, that's a whole nother story. I don't know. Maybe Cassian's there. Maybe Cassian's physically there. I don't know. Dedra gets sent to Alderaan for her next assignment. Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. That's so bad. Will Mon Mothma's husband or daughter die or be interrogated? That's actually a great question. Because Perrin is not even involved in the last 3 episodes. He's been such a key piece to the story. I feel like his arc needs to be closed. Like, we need to know what happened to Perrin. We need to know. It can't just be that he's not. We're never going to find out. His wife just left in the middle of the night. Or I guess the middle of the day, but in the middle of the night. Like, she just leaves. It is quite strange. I don't know if they'll die. Like, I don't see the purpose of killing Perrin off. But it would be kind of strange if they didn't close that sort of open-ended loop, you know? I don't know. Luthen has access to all those ancient and impossibly important trinkets in his shop, which seems like he might have value for future storytelling. He seems like somebody who could exist under the radar. Well, yeah, but the question is, why does he have all that stuff? What is his background and how did he attain all those things? Because he's got stuff that's mentioning the ancient Mercatan Empire and all this really ridiculous stuff that will eventually become canon, or I guess it is canon, but eventually become more important with like the Dawn of the Jedi movie and stuff like that. Yeah. A Kleya versus Dedra fistfight, need that? That would be pretty cool. Not going to lie, that would be pretty cool. Kleya kills Dedra in the gallery in a girl fight with some of the Easter eggs. Oh my God, imagine she like puts on the Mandalorian armor that's in there. She puts on Plo Koon's mask and she just starts hitting her in the head with the Gungan shield. She's like, stay down, stay down.
I got a bad feeling about this.
That would be crazy. that would be awesome. He opens up a Sith holocron and it's just like, you know. That would be pretty wild. Not gonna lie. That'd be pretty wild. Having said that, though, I could see Kleya being the one to take Dedra out. Kleya has been a little pretty badass in this season. She's gotten more of an important role, I feel like, in this second season rather than the first, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we got something in the Discord? Okay. Hang on. If you guys are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to the people who love Star Wars in the there's a Discord called the People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. Oh, this is in Davos's collection. I see. Yeah, we don't know how many of these things came from Luthen or not, so it might be from somebody else, but could be from Luthen. Also true. Yeah. So, since we always go off topic, let's circle it back to this trailer again. Wilmon, I think, is dead. I do. Luthen could be from a wealthy family like the Dooku's. Imagine he's related to Count Dooku somehow. That would be insane. Again, I like the separatist theory quite a bit. If he's a separatist, it would make his character so much more intriguing because you immediately think, oh my God, separatist, that's a bad guy. But then you'd have to really think about it. You're like, Luthen's not a bad guy. He's one of my favorite characters in Andor. It would really make you think. It would make you think. Yeah.
Here, and you're ready to fight!
There's a future here for those who dare.
Oh, that we haven't seen yet. Kleya crying. Oh, wait, did I already? Hang on. Hang on. There it is. We haven't seen this. She's in like an all-white room here. What do we think's going on here, chat? Maybe Luthen's death? Maybe Luthen's funeral? What do we think's going on here, chat? Luthen's death? She's wearing yellow too. Yeah, it's weird. She's wearing yellow with like an all white background. Maybe she's in some Imperial facility or something. She's arrested. Could be. Could be. Luthen's funeral's on Alderaan. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, that would be genius if I did that, but now sadly it's not. The Discord link is in the description of this live stream. So if you're looking for the Discord, there's a link in the description of this live stream and every live stream ever. Actually, every video I've ever posted. So if you're looking for the Discord link, it should be right in there. Yeah. Yeah. Mon Mothma hasn't paid her last bill. That's true. She just ran away. She just ran away from her bills, you know. Don't have to pay them if you run. Luthen's death was by the dagger, maybe? That's actually a great point. The dagger from this trailer, by the way, that was the end of that trailer. So only like 5 or 6 scenes that we haven't gotten to see yet from that trailer. But from the original trailer, because that was the second one that posted, this one, yeah. For some reason they hate it when I play the audio to this. But the dagger in this one, I believe it's... I actually have no idea where it is. Let's wait, have we seen this yet, chat? Why does he look like Thanos making the stew at the end of or at the beginning of Endgame when they come to chop his head off? Does Luthen become a farmer, chat? What's going on here? So we haven't seen this one yet. Can I get some good cups for all orders in the chat, please? Bumpa. Force Ghost Luthen. It looks like he's cooking something. I don't think he's actually a farmer, but even still, we haven't seen it yet, which is strange. And he looks pretty depressed here. Not gonna lie. All right, they really hate it when I play this trailer, so I'm gonna just fast forward here real quick. This is Clea and Cassian. That's not Bix, that's Clea. And they are in the safe house on Coruscant. So we're going back here. And she looks pissed. I mean, Luthen's probably dead at this point. No, he's definitely dead at this point. So maybe, is it possible that Luthen is the one who starts the idea that there is a planet-killing weapon, that the Empire is building something? And what I mean by that is obviously we know that Cassian and Jyn Erso on Scarif send out the Death Star plans. But the way that they attain the idea that there is a weapon is at the beginning of the movie in that alleyway. This guy Tivik says that there's a Imperial pilot who has defected, and he's talking about Galen Erso and how he put this. There's a planet-killing weapon, and he put this thing into it that makes it possible to destroy. So, but the idea of there being a weapon that the Empire is building is already something that's known. So what if Luthen is actually the catalyst for the rebellion knowing at all that there is a weapon? Like, what if his death is him dying, trying to get the information to Clea and to the rebellion that there is a planet-killing weapon? Or maybe not a planet-killing weapon, but a weapon nonetheless. That they're working on something very, very important. What do we think? What do we think? Plot twist, Dedra works for Luthen this whole time? I don't think so. I don't think so. That would be a little, that wouldn't even make sense. Imagine Dedra learns, or is assigned to the Death Star. That would suck. That would really suck. So Cassian's the one who leads Dedra to Luthen? I don't know. The fact that Cassian's back on Coruscant here, though, in this scene is pretty interesting. And yes, Clea is losing it. We never really see Clea lose it like this. Not much, at least. So her being this upset about something makes me believe that Luthen's already gone at this point. And the reason that they are in this safe house on Coruscant, they're probably trying to get out of town, you know? They might have just killed Dedra Miro in the gallery. Yeah. You know? Are we talking about many Bonthas? Well, the Bothans? Yeah. The Bothans, they get the information for the second Death Star, not the first one. So when Mon Mothma says many Bothans died to get us this information, that's in Return of the Jedi. So that's just the second Death Star. That's not the first. Yeah. No one thinks Clea is going to die because she is Leia. Okay, let's talk about Clea then. Because we know that Luthen's probably going to die. What about this weird character named Clea? I mean, will she die? I don't know. She seems to have a very, very important role in the rebellion, but it's more so on Luthen's side of this rebellion because the rebellion is sort of split up into sections. Will she die? Hashtag Leia is Clea. Clea is Leia. You guys are crazy. Leia is way too busy to be pulling off Leia's duties. Yeah, I don't think she is Leia. Yeah. Yeah, Leia, what's your code name? Oh, it's Clea. How original. What if Luthen is from Alderaan? That would make some sense. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. Can Google AI pull up clips of Clea from the teaser? I have no idea. I have no clue. But having said that, what's going on here? This is clearly in the last 3 episodes because we haven't seen it yet. She's very upset at Cassian. Like, very upset at Cassian. Maybe because he wasn't there and Luthen died. I don't know. We haven't seen that. We haven't gotten this yet, Chad. All this stuff. Oh, wait, this is the hallway to... Wait. Now we got some information here. This just seems like a scene, just random scene from before, but now we got the information. This is the hallway to that safe house. So Clea and Cassian might be in the room right now, and these people are coming to arrest them or kill them, and they have to escape. This is the hallway to the safe house. Holy crap. That's why they were showing that hallway so much. It was in the last episode. It was in the week before. I was like, why do we care about this hallway so much? But this is why. Holy crap. Okay, so this is going to be pretty interesting. They might have to blast their way out of here. Maybe this is where Clea dies. Oh my God. What if this is where Clea dies? And Cassian and Clea take out all these guys, but Clea dies in the firefight, and that's how he has to leave her. That would be crazy. It's a trap. We haven't seen this of Dedra either. This looks like she's sort of freaking out here. Or at least a little bit. Oops. What the heck? How did that happen? What is going on here, Chad? Okay. So, let's just mute this for now. Because the revolution starts now. Haven't seen this yet, right? Looks like it could be on Yavin. Some K2SO action. Seen all this. R.I.P. Cyril. For some reason, I just keep thinking we're going to see Cyril next week, but I know he's dead. Seen all this. Where's the dagger at? Why did I think it was in this trailer? I guess it's not, but we did catch this. Wow, we haven't caught this yet. That's crazy. So they're in this safe room on Coruscant. And the very next scene after that is these guys walking down the hallway to that safe room to probably go kill Clea, because Clea is going to die. Oh, yeah, the shot of Melshi, too. Yeah, let's get to that one sec. Where is he? K2. Where is Melshi? Chad, are you lying to me? Is Melshi in? Oh, there he is. Oh, he is in some sort of fire. Wait. Wait, slow this down. Maybe he's in the safe room too. maybe he's in the safe room too. That guy, like right there, boom. Oh wait, I'm in the way. Hang on. Check this out. This one frame right here, you can see this guy, stormtrooper-looking guy without his helmet on, which we see in the hallway. Because look, if you go up one frame, whoops, what's going on here? Ah, shit. No, chat, no. See, look, frame. And then you can see him right there, and then he's gone again. So it's literally just one frame where you can sort of see this guy. Stormtrooper guy from the hallway. So this looks like Melshi is there. This is the, something crazy's going down on Coruscant in this safe room on Coruscant. That's wild. So Melshi, Kleya, Cassian are all pinned into this safe room. And Kleya, well, we know for a fact that Melshi and Cassian make it out alive because they're both in Rogue One. But Kleya might die here. That's pretty wild. I knew he'd get somewhere in this live stream chat. I knew he'd find some crazy piece of evidence that would suggest that somebody's dying. We did it. Okay. So I think Luthen's already dead at this point. I think this is where Kleya dies. Or at least they maybe all make it out alive. Who knows? But the revolution starts now. So there you have it. That was the other trailer. Now I want to get to this one too. So many trailers. Because there's some scenes in here that we haven't seen yet either. So this was the one that was posted during Star Wars Celebration. Honestly, still shocked that we got so much Yavin 4 last week. Absolutely shocked.
I came with you to be part of something.
But we didn't get this Cassian. This is the Cassian that we see in Rogue One. So this is how he's going to look this week. It's not how he looked last week. This is how he's going to look this week. Now, with Yavin 4, with the opportunity seeing characters that we know, like we've already saw Draven in the last episode, General Draven. We've already seen, or we're going to see, we know for a fact we're going to see Admiral Raddus. There's some other familiar faces like Leia, like more Bail Organa, and that stuff that we could be seeing on Yavin 4, but only time will tell. Tell me in the chat, do you think we'll see like the Ghost again? Maybe some Chopper? Possibly.
It's a different kind of mission.
We didn't see that, did we? No, because they don't. Wait. I just assumed that this. Whoa, 50 Thunder with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that. It says, will we. Wait, what will. What? Oh, what will be the alien count for next week? Hopefully a lot, as aliens seem to be the only complaint that people have about the show. But we have not seen this scene. I thought this was going to be last week when Cassian comes to Coruscant to save Mon Mothma, but that's not the case. This is them going back. So this is them going to maybe that Coruscant safe house or maybe something else where we see Cassian and K2SO both on Coruscant. Interesting.
It means so much to reconnect with the cast of Andor. It's this amazing story that is so important for all of us.
If it goes up in flames,
It will burn.
it will burn
Very badly.
very brightly.
You see so much growth and so much destruction. So the evolution of these characters is pretty intense.
Somebody said, and it broke my heart, they were like, what if we get to see Bix in a final scene of the entire series where it's Bix and B2 on some farm somewhere or something like that, just hanging out. That would be heartbreaking. And they maybe even get the news that Cassian has died or something. Ugh. Ugh.
The actors, they were so great. You start to realize what you can write for. Everything's in play.
Oh, we saw that already.
Everything's in motion. Nobody can escape the crushing power of the Empire.
We need to speak out.
Have we seen that yet, Chad? Have we seen this shuttle escaping Coruscant here?
We need to speak out. We need to stand up.
There is peril at every corner.
With the script of Tony's caliber, the depth and the humanity, I think it's very beautiful.
There's something more here, and you
That. We haven't seen Kleya with her hair down like this, smiling. She's on the Fondor here. We can see it in the background. So Kleya and Luthen, I feel like, are going on some final mission this week. They're going somewhere. to do something. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
More here, and you feel it.
But if I'm giving up everything,
And there's our hallway scene again outside the safe room. That's going to be crazy. And this is what we just saw. Has anybody translated this yet, chat? Where we just saw, wait, this is just completely flipped. Because in the last trailer, he's hitting the guy off to the right, but that ship is on the right. There's a ship off there to the left that's on the right from before. I don't know, whatever. But when Cassian and K2 are coming to Coruscant, this is where they're going. That's where we see their ship flying in.
I want to win. It's smart, it's emotional, it's human. We have to. And it just happens to be in a galaxy far, far away.
We must stand together. We will be crushed.
Welcome to the rebellion.
And then, of course, this is the thumbnail of today's live stream. We haven't seen this yet. Cassian in his iconic look of Rogue One walking through Yavin 4. Very cool. I noticed this thing, and I forgot to put it in the breakdown video last week, but I was thinking about it. And that is that this shirt that he's wearing underneath, and he's wearing it through episodes 7, 8, and 9 too, or at least through most of it, it's like Luke Skywalker's. You know how Luke's in Return of the Jedi, it's all black, but then like the top piece is folded over, and it's like a little like gray or whatever, and it's sort of like him battling between the light and the dark. Cassian's got that same style on, but it's all light colors instead of the all dark with Luke Skywalker.
Rebellion.
So good. So only really, 2 scenes in that trailer that we haven't seen yet? Like almost all the footage that we've gotten from the thousands of trailers that exist right now, we've seen the majority of it, probably 99%. In the 1% that we haven't seen yet, they're piecing together quite a story, but we don't know what that story really even looks like. We're very far off, but indeed. Yeah. It's pronounced Draven, not Draven. Well, guess what? It's pronounced chicken nuggets, not chicken nuggets. God. Yeah. I figured that K2 shot was flipped in the earlier trailer because the Arabic letters were backwards. Okay, so then someone translate it. Somebody translate it, please. Please. Where's Mon Mothma? Or where's Mr. Mothma? Sorry. Has he gotten a massive wedding hangover or something? I don't know. Perrin is weird. I don't know if Perrin will really play a role in any of this anymore. I don't know. They've sidelined him quite a bit. Yes, we'll have an appearance of the Ghost Crew or even Ahsoka. I think we could get a mention of Ahsoka, a mention of Fulcrum, which would be really cool. But seeing a character like Hera Syndulla, even that is a difficult task because, yes, Hera already exists in live action. We see her in Ahsoka, but this is like, I don't know, 11 years earlier, something like that. So it's going to have to be a younger version of Hera Syndulla. I think it's probably best to just show the ghost maybe parked at Yavin 4 and just leave it at that. Like, we don't have to see him, you know? So hyped for next week? Oh, yeah. Ridiculously hyped. Yeah. It says towers. Oh, wait, somebody translated? Let's go. Okay. It says towers. Well, what the hell does that do me? Towers? Who cares? God. I think we'll see the ghost. I hope so. It was amazing to have the mention last week. Yeah, the Gold Squadron mention last week was pretty cool. It was. I mean, they connected it perfectly. Perfectly. Having Mon Mothma have to go do that other speech. Yeah. It was pretty good. I still think Clea was a Padme handmaiden, even if the timeline doesn't make any sense. I mean, it could technically make some sense. She'd have to be really young, but it could make sense. And if Luthen's also from Naboo, that could be where Luthen gets Clea from. And that's why Clea is such a good sidekick. I kind of like that. I wonder if Jyn Erso will be mentioned. I don't think so, because Jyn isn't... She's not really around until Rogue One. and the Rebels don't really know her. Cassian doesn't know her, so I feel like it would be weird. What about Omega? She does join the rebellion. Seeing Omega, her first ever live action appearance being in Andor Season 2 would be pretty damn crazy. Yeah. That would be wild. I think Bix is Poe Dameron's mom. That's a theory. Yeah, now that's a theory. Season 3, episode 18 and 19 of Rebels went really good after those last 3 episodes. True. Yeah, if you watch those back to back, you watch episode 9, or I guess 8 and 9 of Andor Season 2, and then you go back and watch those episodes 18 and 19 of Season 3 of Rebels, it does work very well. Indeed. What about Galen Erso? I think Galen could be seen. I think Galen will be in the show. Actually, let's pull it up, because here's the deal. Mads Mikkelsen was at Star Wars Celebration. Now, they didn't confirm at Star Wars Celebration that he would be in the show, but why else would he be there? So let's pull this up. Do you think Galen Erso will be in Andor Season 2? Well, I guess just the remainder of Andor Season 2. Yes or no? No, not Galen Merrick. Well, however, Galen Merrick, his mask is in Luthen's gallery. No, I don't think so. But Galen Erso, and by the way, the poll of do you think Dedra will die? 81% of you say yes. 81% say yes, she will die. That's some pretty high numbers there. Pretty high numbers. Yeah. Edu was mentioned in episode 8. Yeah, it was. But why? What do you mean? What will you recommend watching once Andor Season 2 is completely released? Which order of shows or movies? What do you mean? Like for somebody who's just started watching Star Wars, or like I don't understand the question. Yeah. I don't know. Mike, do you know Italian brain rot? I can't begin to ask questions about that. Is that a person? Is that a thing? Is that a place? What? Well, yeah, I guess after Andor Season 2, I'd watch Rogue One immediately. Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, Rogue One, episode 4 through 6, and then repeat. It's honestly going to go down as like one of the craziest trilogies that's not even a trilogy of all time. You got Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2, and Rogue One. It's really 9 movies, because Andor Season 1 is 4 movies, Andor Season 2 is 4 movies, and then Rogue One is the 9th movie. So it's its own saga. It's a Cassian Andor saga, chat. We're getting a full-on saga of Cassian Andor. Crazy. But 9 movies, and then you get the sequel trilogy of that trilogy is the original trilogy.
This is where the fun begins.
Wow, by the way, 62% of you guys right now say yes, you do think we'll see Galen Erso. That'd be pretty cool. Holly with the very generous $2 holla says, K2 will come save them at the safe house. That could be a possibility too. But why would they be split up in the first place, you know? Yeah, no? I find that answer vague and unconvincing. True. Mike. In the trailer, we see Saw Gerrera on his hideout on Jeddah. Saw must have collected Jyn Erso from her hideout before he went to Jeddah. So, with that being said, we could see Jyn Erso. Well, here's the problem with that. As much as I love that, here's the problem. He picks up Jyn Erso like 10 years before this show even takes place. So Jyn is long gone. Yeah. The opening scene of Rogue One is, I don't know, how many years is it? How old is Jyn in the opening scene? How old is Jyn Erso in Rogue One opening scene? Okay, she's 22 in the movie, but how old is she in the opening scene? Hang on. Darth Rakunar with a very generous $5 holla says, Mike. Will we see B2 again? In the trailer, we see a scene with B2 looking at a fire at night. Every scene he's in is with daylight. What trailer is that, Darth Raccoon? Can you find that trailer for me? Or send it to the Discord or something? I also love these mics. It makes me laugh. Okay. Could Clea be Cassian's sister? I mean, probably not. Seem a little crazy. She was 5 years old at the beginning? Possibly. So that would make it, she's 22 during the events of Rogue One. In the opening scene when she's a child, let's say she's 5 or 8 years old, whatever that is, that's at least 15-ish years before. So that means that Jyn Erso getting saved by Saw Gerrera happened 15 years before the events of this second season of Andor, or at least 10 years, 10 to 15. And then that would lead to her not being involved at all. Yeah. A very short shot. In which trailer? The last one you showed, it was a one shot. Okay, last one I showed, I think was this one. Shit. I think it was this one. Let's see.
I came with you to be part of something.
Keep your eyes on chat. So this is pretty cool because in this scene, it's Cassian and K2SO and Melshi on their way to Coruscant.
It's a different kind of mission. It means so much to reconnect with the cast of Andor. It's this amazing
Laser focus chat. We're looking for a B2 sitting by a fire.
story that is so important for all of us. If it goes up in flames, it will burn.
Very brightly.
Very brightly.
You see so much growth and so much destruction. So the evolution of these characters is pretty intense.
The actors, they were so great. You start to realize what you can write for. Everything's in play. Everything's in motion. Nobody can escape the crushing power of the Empire.
We need to speak out. We need to stand up.
There is peril at every corner.
With the script of Tony's caliber, the depth and the humanity, I think it's very beautiful. There's
Oh. Have we never seen this, Chet? Was this not in the first 3 episodes, Chet? Wait. I can't remember it being in the first 3 episodes. Can somebody help me? Is it not? Wait, chat. Wait. I think we saw this shot. Uh-oh. It is in the first 3? Chat, we need a definitive answer here. All right, let's go to Disney Plus. We're going to Disney Plus. Hang on, chat. We need answers, and we need them now. All right, season 2. Scrolling through the entire thing. All right, it opens with Cassian stealing the TIE fighter. No. Then it goes to Mina Rao at nighttime. Mina Rao at nighttime, but that's when Bix is having a bad dream. There's no fire there. We go all the way through episode 1. Daytime. Okay, it's not episode 1. Moving on. Episode 2 opens on what we come to find out is Yavin 4. Then we go to Coruscant. Then we go to Mon Mothma's daughter's wedding. Then Mina Rao, but it's the daytime. Mina Rao, more Mina Rao, daytime. More Mina Rao, daytime. Daytime. I don't think it... Oh, wait. Oh, found it. We've seen the scene. Okay. Maybe we haven't, but we have. Wait, they're all sitting by a fire here. B2. Oh, yeah, there he is. We don't see that frame, though. But here it is. They're all by the fire, and B2 is there as well. Yep. Okay, never mind. I think we've seen it already. I don't know if we see that frame, though, where he's looking at the fire. But maybe we do. Roasting marshmallows. I don't know. B2 seems to be lost in the sauce. He seems to be gone in the wind, you know? So, having said that, I think this is the most important frame remaining. Like, what is she doing in the gallery? Is she going to kill Luthen? Is she going to kill Clea? What's going down there? That's going to be the most important thing. And did we get out a helping message across the galaxy to Cassian and the others? Yeah, that seems to be the question. Oh, this is a big thing. They did this before the season started, but now they're doing it right before the finale. Join Andor creator Tony Gilroy and star Diego Luna to celebrate the season finale. They're doing another live interview thing on Tuesday. So it's almost time to send Cassian Andor off as he takes his final steps to Scarif. Oh, that's brutal. In Andor Season 2's finale next week. So this is the final time we will ever get to see the character of Cassian Andor, at least, unless we just rewatch the show forever. But the occasion marks the end of a 5-year-long journey for the cast and crew behind the critically acclaimed, and beloved Star Wars series. Star Wars YouTube will host the special live Q&A like they did a few weeks ago for Andor Season 2 with Tony Gilroy and Diego Luna, covering the momentous event of Season 2. Join creator Tony Gilroy and star Diego Luna himself on May 13th, which is this Tuesday, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 9 a.m. Pacific Time, as they are joined by special guests Dedra, actress Denise, Kyle, Cyril, R.I.P., and Clea, Elizabeth, Elizabeth. Oh, and Mon Mothma, Genevieve, and Bix. And Bix is gone too. So that'll be a pretty interesting one. So that'll be on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Will we live stream it? Maybe. I don't know. I'll let you guys know because we're going to be doing our usual live stream prediction stream on Monday, and then we'll do the watch party on Tuesday. So at some point, I have to do something called sleep. Have you guys ever heard of this thing called sleep? I have to do that at some point on Tuesday. So to get ready for my all-nighter that I pull on Tuesday nights into Wednesday. So I got to sleep at some point, but we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Sleep is optional. Okay. Sleep is optional. It clearly has been for the last 3 weeks, but yes, I agree with you. But that is on Tuesday, so we'll figure that out on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. But I feel like there's one more interview thing that oh, yes, this. Okay. So this is Tony Gilroy talking about the Star Wars fandom. Take a listen to this. This is pretty spot on, to say the least. But check this out.
I think it's a mistake to look at the Star Wars community as a monolith, as a unified group. What I've learned over the last 10 years is how many different divisions and subcults there are within it. There's all variety of Star Wars fans, and they don't agree with each other much of the time. I know there's a large segment of Star Wars, passionate Star Wars fans that are thrilled with what we're doing, and they've been yearning for it. There are Star Wars fans who are outraged that we've made something that isn't for that kids can't watch, and it doesn't have a lot of fun in it, and they yearn for the innocence and the safety of the old formula. I don't see why these all can't exist together. I don't think that one precludes the other. That is literally just my opinion. You're going to get a variety of opinions from community. What I'm really also trying to do, that's why we're leaning so hard into the press this time, is I'm really, really interested in letting people know that they don't have to know anything about Star Wars to watch our show. I'm trying to animate an audience that is Star Wars averse, that is like, I'm not watching that because it is Star Wars. I'll be most happy if we can bring an audience of people who have no exposure to Star Wars or have avoided it. I think it's a mistake.
So pretty much what he's saying here, and he's so spot on, is how divided the Star Wars fandom is, but that's not a bad thing, pretty much. He's saying that he wants to bring in new Star Wars fans with his show, which is great because then those people will probably go watch the rest of Star Wars because they like it so much. And obviously, Andor Season 1 is so very almost not Star Wars in the ways of no Force, no lightsabers and that stuff. And it's almost progressing into more Star Wars-y stuff. We had a Force healer in the last week's episodes. And then it, of course, eventually goes into Rogue One, which has Vader and lightsabers and the Force quite a bit with Chirrut and stuff like that. So it's almost a perfect introduction to what is the craziness that is the Force and the lore of Star Wars and all that. But Andor itself is almost a perfect segue into that. However, he does talk about also how the Star Wars fandom is so divided, how some people absolutely love Andor, say it's one of the best things to ever exist, which we have been saying quite a bit this week. And then there's others that absolutely hate it. It's not for kids. It's not lightsabers. It's not whatever. And they just hate it. So that's pretty much spot on. The Star Wars fandom is so divided into all these different groups, and that's perfectly fine because everybody has different opinions. But the problem arises when people start to find their own opinion as fact and law and think that everybody else's opinion is absolute straight garbage, and they can't accept that. And that's when the arguing happens. That's when all the craziness happens. And yeah, we got to just coexist together because, yes, you may think your favorite movie of all time is The Last Jedi, and I disagree with that. But guess what? We're both Star Wars fans. Shocker. But that's the Tony Gilroy message, and it's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good, if I do say so myself, Chet. Yeah. Well, having said that, I mean, Tony Gilroy kind of gave us a perfect note to end on, if you will. What episode and around what minute was the campfire scene? It was episode 2 and about halfway through or something. Hang on. Episode 2 at the 27-minute mark. Yeah. So 27:37 or 30, something like that. I don't know. Something like that. But with that being said, I do have to get on out of here a little bit earlier today than usual, but I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. Let's check out this. Let's check this out. Who's hating? Haven't heard any hate like the Acolyte. You haven't heard any hate on the Acolyte? What do you mean? Oh, on Andor, like you have seen with the Acolyte? Oh, it exists. It exists quite a bit, actually. The Andor hate has been bonkers for quite some time. But do you think Galen Erso will be in Andor Season 2? 60% of you say yes. 40% of you say no. But Donald with the very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that. You guys are very, very generous today with the Super Chats. I appreciate it. So smash freaking like on this stream if you have not already. Watch out for the prediction stream on Monday, even though we did a lot of predicting today. We're going to be doing even more on Monday. Watch out for a short in about an hour and a half. And then, yeah. So smash a freaking like on the stream. How many likes do we have, chat? Am I going to be upset? Am I going to be upset? Oh, that's actually a pretty good amount of likes. That's a pretty good amount of likes. But until then, may the Force be with you. Say hi to Sam for us. I will. I will relay the message. I told her she's got to get on a stream sometime soon. The people who love Star Wars are missing her dearly. And if you want the conversation to keep on going, chat, go join the Discord. There's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. But until then, may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. This was quite the live stream, if I do say so myself. Quite the live stream. The hype is real for this Andor finale. The hype was real for last week's. Oof, it's so good. It's so good. But I appreciate you all for being here. We had quite the almost record-breaking stream today. A lot of people in this chat today. So smash a freaking like if you have not already. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.